In this video, we are going to demonstrate how to report qualified expenditures in the Electronic Filing System web application, abbreviated EFS. The reporting being described in this video only applies to committees registered with the Public Campaign Finance Board, abbreviated PCFB, and participating in the Public Campaign Finance Program. Only PCFB committees are able to report qualified expenditures. To start, let's define what a qualified expenditure is. Qualified campaign expenditures are expenditures that further the participating candidate's nomination or election. Public funds can only be spent on qualified campaign expenditures. Most campaign expenditures are considered qualified campaign expenditures. These include, but are not limited to, campaign mailers, literature, TV and digital ads, staff salaries, office space and equipment, computer hardware and software, and polling. Qualified expenditures can also include debts incurred within 1 year before the election if the debt furthers the candidate's election. However, there are certain expenditures that cannot be paid for with public matching funds. The following are examples of non-qualified expenditures, but committees are eligible to use non-public campaign funds, and this includes, but is not limited to, the repayment of loans used to pay for non-qualified expenses or used to pay for qualified expenses incurred more than 1 year before the applicable election, transfers, contributions to other candidates or committees, cash expenditures, gifts, legal fees related to a criminal charge, ballot proposition expenses, expenditures related to duties of public office, payments to family or family-owned businesses, expenses related to challenging the ballot access of other candidates. In this video, we will be working in the File a Disclosure Report page from the main navigation at the top of the screen after creating our report. For instructions on how to create the report, please view the video entitled Filer Dashboard in EFS. Please note that the Transaction Type drop-down menu located towards the top of the page will only populate with items that are applicable for your committee type. For example, we will be entering data during this video for a Type 1P Public Campaign Finance Committee named Committee to Elect Mary Williams. To start, select the 16th category for data entry in the Transaction Type drop-down menu entitled Qualified Expenditures. Once the transaction type is chosen and the user selects Apply, you will see new drop-down menu options for sorting and columns to view. The choices default to Created Date and Descending for sorting. As for column view, 6 are required, but others can be selected based on personal preference. Once you choose which you prefer to see, select Set Preferences. In this video, we are going to cover a few different types of qualified expenditures. Every qualified expenditure for the committee must be disclosed in your report. However, we will not be discussing how to report reimbursements and credit card payments in this video. In order to learn about these two topics, which affect many filers, please see the video in this series entitled reporting reimbursements and credit card payments. Select the Add New Transaction button to begin entering a transaction. A new dialog box opens. There are 3 questions at the top of the Add, Edit Transaction dialog box. Let's review what each question means. The first question is expenditure subcontracted? Occasionally, a committee will have an expenditure to a vendor, and that vendor subcontracts some or all of the work. Subcontractor information is required when the subcontracted amount is greater than $10,000 for statewide candidates and greater than $5,000 for all other offices. Select yes or no from the drop-down menu based on your situation. The next question is this a partial payment or payment on an outstanding liability? Occasionally, a committee will have an expenditure that is only a partial payment of a total liability owed to an individual or entity. When this is the case, the committee must disclose the total amount owed, the amount of the current payment, and the balance remaining. The unpaid balance remains disclosed as an outstanding liability of the committee until paid or forgiven in full. Select yes or no from the drop-down menu based on your situation. The next question is, has this liability been previously reported? Select yes from the drop-down menu to answer this question if the committee has previously reported an amount as an outstanding liability. The committee will then select which outstanding liability this expenditure is paying down from a list. This question is grayed out if the committee has no current outstanding liabilities. Select no from the drop-down menu if this is not applicable. We will first demonstrate how to report a typical qualified expenditure of a committee, one that is not subcontracted, not a partial payment, and not an existing liability. Our example is a qualified expenditure the committee made for website development to Squarespace. We answer the 3 questions at the top of the dialog box appropriately using the drop-down menus, no, no, and no. Next, enter the date the qualified expenditure is made or select it from the calendar provided. Next, enter the name and address of the payee in the fields provided. If this is a payee you have entered into the ESS web application before, the fields will populate upon selection from the drop-down menu. Select the purpose code from the drop-down menu. In the new ESS web application, abbreviations are not used. Full words are. There are more than 40 options. Please review and select the most appropriate one. For our committee's expenditure to Squarespace, professional services is most appropriate, so we select that option. Please note, if no purpose code accurately describes your expense, please choose Other and provide a required description in the explanation field below. Next, select the method of payment from the drop-down menu and input a check number if applicable. You will then enter the amount of the expenditure. Please note that the explanation field can be used to provide any other information. Again, it is required when Other is used as the purpose code. The asterisks indicate what fields are required for saving the transaction. Please be aware that they are not a complete picture of compliance requirements. Select the Save button, and a new dialog box opens with the statement, "Transaction saved successfully." Select OK to close. Transactions will populate in the table on the page as they are entered. Committees will need to repeat this process for all qualified expenditures. We hope this example is helpful for you as you enter your committee's qualified expenditures into the EFS web application. As always, staff at the Public Campaign Finance Board is happy and ready to assist you. Our Public Campaign Finance call center may be reached at 518-473-2784. For technical assistance, our IT help desk may be reached at 518-473-4803.